Hey guys, what's going on today? I got a neat train simulator classic video for you with something that I know a lot of you either haven't seen or know about and just don't make it known that you have it. But here's a locomotive that I personally have gotten a boatload of use out of. I have loads of fun with it. It's very different. It's very niche. It has a very niche group available to it, but this is the Saxon IVK. This is a how do I pronounce that? I don't know. I have the information pulled up here in front of me to read off to you guys as to what it is, because I'm an idiot and can't remember this stuff off the top of my head, but it is a Gunther Meyer type. I am sorry if I butchered that. Built for the Royal Saxon State Railways. A total of 96 were built between, 1892 and 1921, therefore making it the most numerous narrow gauge locomotive in Germany. And one of the things that makes it really cool, in my opinion, is this was one of the last steam locomotives retired from everyday service in the world. These locomotives soldiered on up until the 1990s, I believe, and there's still some operational today. So, a well-built locomotive that is well-liked with its crews and has done its job for quite a long time now. Well, quite a long, over a century now. But, great locomotive. Translates pretty well in the train simulator. Overall, it's a pretty fun one to run. It is more akin to the what Dovetail considers pro line now. Driving it with a HUD though is I find almost impossible. So it's different from the pro line in the sense that there is no simple mode. There is no easy mode, I should say. It is hard mode all the way. Now, I don't think you can blow up the cylinders, but as far as the actual operation goes, it takes a little bit of setup. It takes a little bit to fiddle. It's not just a hop in it, throw your brakes off, and go. But it's a very unique locomotive. It is, gauge-wise, it's akin close to the Chorus Railway, and the whole pack in itself is honestly pretty related to the Chorus Railway and what it is and what it does. But so it's how do I put it? It's very limited in what you can and cannot do with. So you're not gonna throw this on any German route that you have and it look right, because it's very small, narrow gauge locomotive and pack that it was designed for one specific region, and it never left that region. So now it was designed for. There's a route that was designed for it that is available as freeware, called the Pressnitzelbahn. It's right here on the side of the locomotive. I'm sorry if I just butchered that, but the Pressnitzelbahn. It is available for Railworks for free. I will put a link to the locomotive and the route. I am not on that route right now because I have never, ever, not once managed to get it to work right. It's made by Germans for Germany, and it's absolutely terrible at reading German, and I have a lot of trouble trying to figure out what all I actually need for the route to work. So I've effectively given up. So let's look at the locomotive and what we get in the pack. So you'll get the locomotive, you'll get a weathered and a clean variant, and you'll get a variant with and without the snowplows on the front and rear. And I do have a weathered variant over there to look at. And then you'll also get the different companies that own the locomotive. So I believe it changed hands. Oh, let's see. Let's pull up my information here. I believe it changed hands 3 times. So it has 4 different variants. In the United States, we call them road names. I have no clue what you would call it in Germany, but you have a German rail variant, you have the Pressnitzelbahn variant, you have a couple others. I didn't put them all down because with all of them down sitting here idling, you wouldn't be able to hear me, but which some of you might love that. But you'll get clean and weathered variants with or without snowplows. Over here, I've got the weathered variant without the snowplows. As far as I know, across the variations, there's no real major differences outside of with or without plow and then with or without weathering. And the weathering on these locomotives is really, really quite nice in my opinion. You know, it's not over the top, but it's enough to look like something that is used. It makes for a really, really neat design overall. So, yeah, correct me if I'm mistaken. I don't know if these are actually articulated. So I'm not going to say that they are or aren't articulated. I assume that they are articulated locomotives because it looks like the frame is split right here. Maybe it's a little brighter over here. You can see it on this one, but yeah, it looks like the frame is split and then hinged right here. So I assume that these locomotives are articulated. My information sheet here does not say yes or no, so I'm just going on a guess. But it's unique by my standards and unique by American standards in the sense that your front, we call them 2 separate engines because, yeah. So your front engine here faces backwards, faces towards the locomotive, while your rear engine faces forwards, which is very unusual for anything in the United States. I don't know how common that is overseas, but for us it's very odd, kind of akin to a Farley locomotive that we've seen. Mexico got some use out of, and I think the Denver and Rio Grande bought one and didn't like it. But for those of you in North America that are wondering, this is more akin to a Farley type in the way it's set up. So if it was from the frame down, you'd have a Farley. From the frame up, you'd have a decently large, just single boiler locomotive. But the other oddball for North American guys like me, but another oddball is your front driver set, your front powered set, has an inside frame. So your frame is here on the inside, and your drive wheels sit on the outside. And your rear set of drivers has the frame on the outside. It's an outside frame. So your frame is outside, and your wheels are on the inside. So that's kind of odd. And by inside-outside frame, for those of you that know about it, the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, or the Cumberson Tultic, both, the locomotives that do, the steam locomotives that pull their trains are typically outside frame locomotives. So you don't see the wheels, you just see the drive rods and the counterweights. That's what it means by outside, inside, for a visual. But yeah, it's quite different. Well, you'll get that, and let's see, what do we get? you get two different gondolas, one with slag and another one back here with coal, and they are loadable. You'll have a load or without load. You'll get two different boxcars, a brown and a green. I assume the green boxcars are meant to be pulled with the passenger trains because they're almost the exact same color. Whether or not, I don't know. I have no idea. You'll get a flat car. The flat car, unfortunately, does not get a load. It has no loaded variants, which kind of makes me sad. So effectively, it's just a prop. And you'll get these. I haven't figured these out. If any of you guys figure it out, please let me know how these are supposed to work, because I have not figured them out. It's like a low-riding flat car that carries a standard gauge box car, and they're linked together with these long joints. You'll get two different versions of these joints. One that's a little bit longer than this, but yeah, I don't know how they work. I don't know how. I mean, I get these connector bars go between the two flat cars. I get that. I haven't figured out how you're supposed to hook these flat cars up to a locomotive or other cars though, because yeah, that is not that and not that. So yeah, I have no clue. I don't know how they're supposed to work, but you know, you get them. So, and you'll get you'll get this box car also that'll just sit on the tracks, just a plain standard gauge box car, not sitting on the flat car. But you'll get that. You'll get two different baggage cars, one with the red windows, green body, one with green windows and green body. They do not have an interior, unfortunately. And you'll get a passenger car, coach car. And you do get an interior. It's pretty rudimentary, nothing great, and you don't get a loaded variant, so no people inside, unfortunately. But that's what'll come with the pack. And then they'll give you the link. They'll also give you the link in the manual for the Press-Nitzelbahn route to run these on. But let me set up my tracks here so that I actually can get out of here without crashing. Let's take a look at it. Let's get up close to it. So yeah, like I said, this locomotive is really, really hard to run using the F4 HUD. I have not personally figured it out. This is actually one of those odd steam locomotives that I absolutely have to run the hard way. Although I do use the F5 HUD in the corner because it makes life a little bit easier. But right off the bat, you can open your side doors, and they do translate outside. You know, just a neat little feature. Most of your windows do open, however they don't translate outside, so all of your windows here open, but yeah, they're not open outside, so that's a little sad. And this little center window doesn't translate outside, so like right now on the outside view it's open, and then we go into the cab and it's not open. You can open it in the cab, but it doesn't translate outside. And you can open your roof hatches. You can't open them individually. It only opens them at the same time for the front and the rear. You can open your sides individually, and it will translate outside. So we crack that one and get a different view. I don't know if those are supposed to be there. They're perfect little yellow squares. They've always been on the model since I got it, so I assume they're supposed to be there. But yeah. So you can fiddle with most of the stuff inside the cab. Your windows open and close. Side windows. And it doesn't translate outside either. But, you know, just for giggles, it does indeed do it. Drops your little armrest there, but... Now, I will warn you guys, this frustrated the living snot out of me for the first, like, week I had this locomotive, and it still frustrates me because I forget it every time I try to run it right off the bat. Your brakes are odd. So, first things first, you have to start your large ejector, start your steam heating, start your electric generator. Do those three right off the bat. Otherwise, you will be frustrated as it gets trying to get these brakes to release. Because it's not just a simple throw and go. You have to go through that before you release brakes. But it's different. Like I said, this is more akin to the pro range stuff. So, generator, large ejector, steam heating. Turn those on. Here's your blower. I have no idea how the blower works. According to some manuals that I have read for some steam locomotives, you turn that on when you're sitting at a train station. According to some guys in the U.S., as far as U.S. contents go, you're supposed to have the blower going at all times. I don't know. I'm an aircraft mechanic. I don't know jack crap about trains. I build guns and I build airplanes. Steam locomotives are not my forte as far as how they work. I like playing train games, so it's my hobby. So yeah, I have no idea what the blower does. Don't know why it's there, but you can use it. Your injectors, you have your separate steam and water injectors. I don't know why you have two separate injector valves that are both water, and then you have injector steam, injector water. I assume that it's like your steam, so when you're in operation, and your water is just straight pouring water onto the grate. Like, oh, that's interesting. Don't think I ever noticed that. Huh. But, yeah. Let's see, what else do we have? I got your water gauge. You do have a view to put you down to see your water gauge, like I said, for operating it like I am right now. It is a little hard to tell because it doesn't, these lines don't go wonky. You have to find that little line right there to figure out where your boiler lever's at. I don't read German, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce any of that. Here's your handbrake. Up is set, I believe, and down is released. Albeit some of the, in the F4 HUD it is set, and your F4 HUD will not translate into the cab. So what you do on your F4 HUD will not matter inside this cab. So if you try to go from your F4 HUD to the cab back and forth trying to operate stuff, it won't work. It won't be right. Only your basic controls, being your throttle and your reverser, will actually translate. Now your brake handle will translate, but it doesn't actually, see, brakes are loose, it doesn't release your brakes. Oh, duh, because I'm stupid. For your brakes to work, you have to turn your fine adjustment valve on. Now your brakes work. Sorry. Like I said, I forget these brakes every single time I play this locomotive. But you have to turn your brake adjustment valve on. But outside of these three controls right here, driving this locomotive with cab and F4 HUD Doesn't work. Now you can drive it at 4 HUD and it worked, or you can get rid of F4 and drive it this way, but you can't combine the two. It won't. It doesn't work for me. I don't know if it's just a screw up with Railworks, but I know it doesn't work for me. So like right now, according to the F4 HUD right now, my cylinder cocks are open. According to the cab right now, my cylinder cocks are closed. This is open for your cylinder cocks. You have 2 separate levers for your cylinder cocks. These are your fire dampers. I don't know what those do. Those don't work. And this is your stoker. So if you open one of these, it's 50% coal per shovel. And if you open both of them, it's 100, so your shovel's a little bit faster. Typically you won't need both. Really and truly, you won't even be shoveling a whole lot until you start to climb a hill. But since we're on a steam workshop route right now, it's flat, it's level. We won't need that much. Now your injectors are loud. They are really loud. That is the other reason I don't have all the different variants sitting here on with us right now, because whenever they do their idle noises and the injectors kick off, you can't hear anything. Yeah, see, your injectors are really, really loud. Why, I don't know, but if that's how they sound in real life, awesome. I have no idea what they're actually supposed to sound like. I have never, ever, not once in my life, ever been to Germany up next to one of these, so I'm just going off of what my personal thoughts are. Now, it sounds pretty good, but in my opinion, those injectors are ridiculously overpowering loud over the rest of the locomotive. I know in the United States right now, your steam generator would be probably the loudest noise you'd be hearing. And yeah, you can barely hear it on this locomotive. You have a bell valve. It's a little bell right here. Bell sounds pretty good. It kind of cuts out a little bit abruptly. Cuts in, cuts out. It doesn't have a start up or wind down. It just kicks on, kicks off, but it's what it is. And where is it? Right here. Your whistle's in an odd spot. Here's your whistle. Now, for some weird reason, sometimes it does this, sometimes it doesn't, where if you try to pull the whistle lever using your mouse button, it will stick. So, you know, you pull it down, you push it back up, and it'll turn around and go right back down whenever you let off of it. Why that is, I have no clue. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. And I have a bunch of locomotives that do that, mostly British, but if you guys know why it does that, please let me know. I have no clue. But yeah. Pretty good sounding whistle. It does have a set whistle, so it doesn't have a very good short whistle sounds. I don't know how I'm hoping you guys get it. It's meant to be pull the whistle cord down, let it play through its tone, let it go. For those of you that know me, I despise whistles like that. I hate whistle files like that. I like to be able to choose how long I pull the whistle, but that's how this locomotive is set up. The actual sound sounds pretty decent, but I hate that loop. So if you try to do a short toot, it just plays part of the audio file and then cuts out. I don't like it. But let's kick our brakes off, put them to neutral, reverser forward. I don't think the reverser translate outside. Yeah, nope. Reverser doesn't translate outside. And there are no sanders. So getting started is different. Unless that is your sander valve, which is not usable. There are no sanders. So good luck. And then what's the last thing in the cab? Yeah, you can't do the headlights either using the mouse. Why that is, I don't know. It kind of bothers me, but again, it is what it is. Let's see. Headlights are H. Don't know. That is one thing I have to. There, headlights. Let's get going. Open our throttle here. Cylinder cocks go off. And you can spin the wheels. Why are we struggling? Oh, that's why. See, like I said, handbrake does not translate. It's off right here, but in the F4 HUD it wasn't. But gave me the opportunity to show it slipping its wheels, so that's a cool little feature. Yeah, now let's get going. There we go. I find it kind of interesting that you can choose which cylinder cocks I have open separately. It's kind of different, but whatever. Overall, it's a really good sounding locomotive, I think. We're just gonna ignore that whole "you're speeding" thing. It has a really good chuff rate. Nice overall sound to it that I like. Now, these are not fast. For those of you looking to hop in and have a speed demon, these locomotives are not fast in any way. Put that switch the way I want it. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it says it somewhere in the cab. Yeah, right here. So, top speed for the locomotive is 30 kilometers an hour. What that translates to in miles an hour, I'm not dead certain. I know the locomotive. I typically, on a straight level ground with your reverser adjusted properly and your throttle adjusted properly, typically it only gets up to about 20-25 mile an hour. So I'm guessing that's about what the top speed on the locomotive is about 25 miles an hour. So they're not fast, but they're pretty good for a nice little stroll. Pretty decent coasting sound. What your whistle sounds like outside. Now, unfortunately, the whistle doesn't put steam through it. Why that is, I don't know. The oversight from the guys that made it, but it doesn't. You do have a passenger view, which is, there's no interior passenger view. It just picks different spots on the car, but So pretty fun looking locomotive. I like it. I think it's pretty cool to run around with. Now you can lock the brakes up, and it will most definitely grab the wheels and slide. Unfortunately, they don't spark whenever they slide, so sad times. But it does lock the wheels up if you just slam the brakes down and instead of a gradual. Now, to gradually apply the brakes, you do kind of have to bump it, as I call it. So here you have neutral, which is what you'll leave it in whenever you're operating, whenever you're actually running. And then you'll have to sit and do this to apply your brakes without slamming them all the way down to closed. So, just a little tidbit. But it stops pretty quick. And it'll pull a pretty decent load. The only reason I only have 3 cars is it's about all that fits in the siding back there at the train station we started out at. But it'll honestly pull 4 or 5 of these cars pretty easily. But yeah, it's a fun locomotive. I have a lot of fun with it. I like it. I love it. This is one that I come back to pretty often. If I could ever get the route that it's meant to run on to work, I probably would never play another foreign route other than that. And the Forge simulation also has a narrow gauge diesel locomotive that goes with this pack very nicely, called the V10C. I'll do a video on later on whenever I can actually figure out how to operate it reliably, but right now I can't. I suck at running it. But yeah, something I never noticed. Is it supposed to do that? No, there's no cutouts. So interesting, your valve gear ends up inside the cylinder here. Fun little bit of oversight. Oh well. Like I said, it's an older model. Most likely you'll never get another update for it or anything for it. But this is available from JustTrains. And to my knowledge, you can still get it. I will post a link in the description to pick it up if you guys want to go pick it up. Okay, I love it. Like I said, I get a lot of use out of it. I think it's a real pleasant. I consider it more of a beginner's pro line locomotive. It's not too crazy to figure out, but it's not simple. So it's overall pretty decent. Now you have manual safety valves that you can fiddle with in the cab, but it doesn't do anything outside. Oh well. Yeah, there it is, the Saxon IKV. I'm sorry, I try. Go pick it up. You'll like it. Let me know if you do pick it up and like it. Be nice to see some other people give it a little bit of love, because this is one that I really never see. I actually, not one of my friends even knew it existed. I don't know how I managed to go so long owning it and them never knowing I had it, but I run it often enough that it's kind of funny that few people really know it exists. Few people ever use it. Now I will say, like I said, it's kind of like the Chorus Railway in that it's very niche. It is a very narrow gauge that really and truly outside of any steam workshop routes that use Chorus track or the Pressnitzelbahn that it's meant to run on, you really can't use it or the stock anywhere. So it's very niche, meant to be played in a very specific place. But overall, it's really great fun. So yeah, there it is. I hope you guys enjoy it. Go pick it up and have a good look at it.